Yo, what's up, gang? It's your boy Trippy. So, there's not been a lot going on in the world of fighting, and I'm talking about in the world of mixed martial arts, and really just entertaining, interesting fights, period. But there was a few whack-ass boxing matches last night that I guess I'll talk about. So, Triller Fight Club, once again, Triller, the freaking gold standard for fight promotions nowadays, put on Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort last night, and Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz. Now, I missed it. I didn't even watch it, upon it was streaming, because obviously I wasn't going to buy that crap. If you guys bought that, y'all seriously, seriously need to think about you guys' lives and what y'all do in it, if y'all bought that pay-per-view. But I didn't, because, Triller, being the professional company that it is, had YouTube streams, pirated YouTube streams all over the place. Literally, maybe a few minutes after the fight was over, there was already a YouTube in full HD quality, almost probably standard quality. The clips were already posted online, the whole fights, and I was like, wow, this is great, honestly. But Triller puts on another garbage event. Honestly, I'm not surprised. It was garbage as far as the fights, but they did better than they did last time. I will say that. They definitely were way more professional and treated it like a fight card. They definitely learned a lot. And they did a lot better in terms of that, but it's just the quality of the fights are just poor. And now, it could have been because of Oscar De La Hoya did back out of the fight due to COVID. A lot of people said he made it up, but no, I think Oscar was stupid enough to make a return back. And regardless, I think he would have done better than Evander Holyfield anyway. So I'm done bashing Triller just for this moment, but let's talk about the actual fight. So, Vitor Belfort basically runs over Evander Holyfield. It looked like it was like a punch. So, Evander gets caught early, and then he caught, Vitor with a bit of a very slow grandma-looking combination. And look, I'm not going to sit here and bash Evander Holyfield. The guy is a legend. The guy has no fear in him. I mean, he defeated Mike Tyson the way he did. He came out with a statement saying that Mike Tyson was 50-0 against opponents that were scared of him, but was 0-6 against guys who weren't. So, look, this man has no fear, and it was just heartbreaking to see a legend like that step back in there and get ran over by an MMA fighter, a controversial one at best. So look, I don't know where you guys stand with Vitor Belfort, but I think the guy is a bit of a scumbag. I think he is because the guy has never been... I don't even know Vitor's real skills because he's taken steroids for majority of his career. At the highest peak of his career, TRT Vitor, we all call him, he was juiced up on TRT. And so it's that was the peak of his career. He dismembered Michael Bisping, and he did all these things. I mean, it's just, I don't know, because I liked his fighting style, but due to the fact that the guy was always juiced up, rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because I'm dude, you're a bit of a scumbag, And so, of course, he was going to take this fight, and of course, he was going to make a lot of money fight boxing Evander Holyfield, but my thing is that Evander shouldn't have stepped in there. The dude literally threw a hook, and he fell off balance due to the hook. But I don't think that it was because of, it was because he slipped. I don't think that was purely that. I think he was rocked. I think he got rocked by whatever Vitor landed. Because the guy is 60 years old. 58. He's 60 years old. He shouldn't be taking blows to the head anyway. But he was. So, he got beat up. And he flopped. But the thing is that the ref, a lot of people were mad with the stoppage. So Vitor caught him with an uppercut, dropped him again. And I mean, it was just so sad seeing Holyfield get up off the canvas and the crowd was cheering oh my gosh, dude, shut up. Anyway, so he gets dropped. And then the saddest thing is him picking himself up off the canvas. And so then Vitor just was all over him, just trying to finish him. And so then Vitor finishes him. He stops him. So everybody was some people were a bit upset with the ref, which I don't see how. It's you guys, that fight wasn't going to be any different in the second round. If anything, you were just looking for Vitor to put him out viciously, which would have been even more ridiculous. I mean, if you guys were down for that, if that's what you guys wanted to see, man, y'all are some sadistic folks, man. I didn't want to see a legend go out like that. To me, I thought if if it were gonna go, like, if Evander was gonna stick in there, it just would have been like he just wouldn't have been able just to keep him off of him, you know? He just would have just been taking shots the entire time. And I thought that it would be a little more competitive than that, but I mean, what can I say? A lot of people are like, Evander looks in great shape. They both look in great shape. Well, Vitor's on roids, and I'm not sure if Evander, throughout his career, I don't know if he would be the type. He's so competitive, man. I don't think that he'd be the type to take steroids through his career, but it's unknown whether he was on steroids for this one. But I know Vitor was. So, yeah, he got stopped. And then what the stupidest thing, I watched a little post-fight press conference with, like, or not press conference, the little ring interview, like, after the loss, with 50 Cent. And 50 Cent was like, Roy, you want to jump back in there with Roy Jones Jr. or Mike Tyson? And then Evander Holyfield was like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't this, and that. I mean, we literally had to see Evander Holyfield break down his loss to Tito Ortiz, to Vitor Belfort, and they're already trying to throw this guy another opponent, and he just looks just defeated in his eye. Like, he knew what happened, man. He knew, like, he shouldn't be boxing anymore. Like, he knew. But the competitive spirit in him wasn't going to let himself say no to a guy like Mike Tyson or a guy like Roy Jones Jr. If I'm Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, yeah, the fight was what you thought it was when they fought, Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. But if I'm Mike Tyson and I'm Roy Jones Jr., I would look at that guy and be like, man, we are leagues and bounds beyond the shape that this guy is in. I'm not going to take this fight. Yeah, sure, it'd be an old man's competition, but dude, Evander Holyfield shouldn't be in there with anybody, man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So, carrying on. So, yeah, 50 Cent was wrong for that. But anyway, carrying on. Tito Ortiz versus Anderson Silva happened, and that was probably more embarrassing than the main event for Triller. Because, I mean, Anderson Silva knocks out Tito Ortiz. That was the weirdest looking knockout. The weirdest looking knockout that I've ever seen. So, my opinions on it is this, is that Tito Ortiz looked like my dad in there, bro. Like, my dad's 44. Okay, no, my dad would have been faster than that. He looked like my alcoholic grandpa in there, bro. Like, he looked garbage. I mean, like, so I understand Tito wasn't the most technical striker to begin with. Never had the best hands to begin with in the MMA. I mean, this is a guy that got outstruck and beat up by Chuck Liddell twice. Now, Chuck Liddell had the hands back in the day, but obviously he doesn't anymore, right? I didn't feel bad for Tito because this, in my opinion, this was the payback for him knocking out Chuck Liddell back when Oscar De La Hoya put on that event. To me, that was the payback for me. It was honestly a little satisfying to see. But, man, he got knocked out bad. So it looked like he charged forward with a flurry of punches, a flurry of slow punches. Anderson slipped a lot, and Anderson didn't even look that great to me either. But Anderson slipped a lot, but he also got caught with, He got, brushed with a few punches. To me, he shouldn't have been. It worried me a little bit because Anderson shouldn't have been touched. I'm talking about he should have looked like a ghost in there. But he did get brushed a little bit with a few of those punches, those slow freaking punches. So I know those punches wasn't much, but the fact that they were so slow and so harmless that Anderson literally shouldn't have let the guy touch him. So, anyway, so then Anderson slips under all the punches, ducks down, Tito brings his hands down, and then Anderson comes up top with a big right and knocks him out on his feet. So it looks like Tito fell asleep against the ropes and then fell to the ground after Anderson hit him again to the back of the head. It was a finish. He was out. And Anderson looked worried because even Anderson was like, what the heck? I didn't even hit him with much. And he went out like that? So, Tito shouldn't be fighting anymore, in my opinion. Everybody's like, oh, the weight cut. Yeah, the weight cut was probably horrendous for him, and he missed weight by 5 pounds, which, once again, Triller didn't even do anything about. But it just shows you how professional Triller is. But, he went out, And I don't think that it was totally the weight cut. I think that it was also just the man just shouldn't be fighting anymore. I don't think the man can take a clean punch anymore from anything. He got knocked out with 10-ounce gloves. Imagine him trying to do MMA again, and he fights somebody who can punch. He's gonna get concussed bad. I don't even want to see it. In my opinion, Tito shouldn't be competing in combat sports anymore. He should stick to whatever he's doing, or he's gonna suffer severe brain damage. Like, he needs to stop. As for Anderson Silva and his longevity in the sport of boxing, Anderson is looking great, man. But although I didn't think that he looked the best in this fight, I sometimes whenever you face an opponent that bad, I mean, dude, how well are you gonna? I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, sometimes I've seen that happen to where fighters fight to their competition, but it didn't even look. I mean, Anderson knocked this dude out in what, like 80 seconds? I mean, it wasn't even a fight. But dude, like, Anderson Silva has aged so well. And I know the Weasel already touched upon this, but this dude, boxing, if he wants to continue doing this, I 100% support him. I don't want to see him competing in MMA again. I don't want to see him doing that. Although I do think that he could go to other promotions like Bellator or PFL or any of these other smaller organizations and possibly be really competitive in them. I don't want to see him competing in MMA anymore because the guy is old. And, you know, we got guys breaking their legs more commonly in this sport now. I just don't want to see him get... I feel like there's a chance that he gets really injured in mixed martial arts if he was to go back. I don't think he will. He's expressed some interest in kickboxing, but obviously there's no money in that. But it looks like he wants to continue boxing. And you know what? I support him in it. As long as he keeps progressing like he is, and due to the fact of him being like 46 years old, I hope that doesn't put a stint on his on how much he can improve in the sport of boxing, which is pretty much new to him at this point. I hope that he can keep growing in the sport and his age won't stop him, because I would love to see him put down both of these influencer boys, because as of right now, as of what I've seen, Jake can make it competitive, Logan gets starched, you know. So that's as of what I can see, because the guy did what he did against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The only thing I can say about Anderson is that he does get caught with some pot shots. He does get caught. But that was against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who's an actual boxer who would beat both the Paul brothers, you know? But, it's just, that's my only worry for him, is that he does get caught with pot shots, and how is he going to react to a young puncher like Jake Paul hitting him, or Tommy Fury, or whoever these guys that Anderson wants to fight. But if Anderson's chin can hold up, I don't doubt his chances against any of these young guys that are boxing in this influencer age. I would love to see Anderson box these influencers, bro. I would pay to see that. Like, even these other influencers, like the Austin McBrooms, the KSIs, the Joe Wellers, the Nissan Gibbs, all these guys. I would love to see Anderson go and box those fools up. Taylor Holder, Bryce Hall. Go box those guys up, man. Make MMA, put MMA on the map, you know? That will make, with these platforms that these guys have, that will put MMA on the map, bro. That will put combat sports on the map if Anderson goes and mops the floor with all of them. But I don't know if Anderson will do that. I think Anderson really wants to box the Paul brothers because he sees that they're actually good. These other guys, not to crap on KSI, but he's not that good, bro. Logan Paul and Jake Paul has both improved since KSI's last fight. They've improved dramatically. KSI has not improved. I truly believe the next time we see KSI in the ring, he's going to look the exact same. Throwing over-looping, haymaker-like type punches. And we're going to see guys like Anderson Silva thrive in this sport. And Jake Paul and all these guys. So, yeah. So, as for Anderson, I would love to see him keep fighting, you know. Keep boxing, that is. Until he gets to where he wants to get. So, now that we covered that, there's not really just a bunch to talk about. There's a Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler fight. Oh, I guess I'll touch on that a little bit. Basically, my next video, if you're a Diaz fan, you're probably not going to like the video I'm going to come out with next, because it's just going to be harsh truth. So, as of a prediction for that fight, if you guys made your solid prediction, I'm pretty sure if you're not picking Robbie Lawler to win, you're just guessing, taking shots in the dark with Nick. Because yes, Nick has the style to beat Robbie, sure. But the thing is that vintage Nick has the style to beat Robbie. This new Nick, we don't know how he's going to look. And I fear that he's going to look like a punching bag for 5 rounds if he doesn't get put out. The way I see it is that Robbie Lawler has been in decent shape. but it looks like he's kind of given up, like after his loss to Neil, well, even before that, looked like he just popped in that fight just to get back in there. It looked like he didn't even want to win. He was getting out-wrestled by Neil Magny. So it looks like Robbie Lawler's motivation for competing in the sport has been at an all-time low since his loss to Ben Askren, if I'm being clear. I really think the Covington one broke him, and then I think the fight against Neil Magny, it just really showed that, look, which is crazy to me. So Colby Covington's win over Robbie Lawler has lost a lot of respect to me because Robbie was done. Because, in my opinion, if Robbie really was going to come back and have any form, I think he would have starched Ben. I don't even think that Ben versus him, the second fight at least, I really don't think that Ben would have had a shot in hell in that fight if Robbie was the new and improved version of himself that people were trying to say he was coming into that fight. And people were like, Robbie looked so good, Robbie looked like a world beater. The thing is that Ben looked so bad, that Ben really isn't that good. And so Robbie, with the defeated version of him, looked good against Ben. So that probably gave Robbie some false hope. He probably did train a little bit hard for the Colby Covington fight, but it's just that I don't think that Robbie's in it for the win anymore, I think Robbie's just competing to compete. But with that being said, that has made Robbie a bit gun shy. But in my opinion, with a standing target in front of him like Nick Diaz, a guy who isn't prone to cutting off the ring, who just kind of walks into you and crashes into you with a flurry of punches, I think that Robbie is going to be able to get off a lot of shots in this fight. And I think that he is going to punch Nick Diaz's face in. Can Nick take the blows, though? That's the thing, is that I feel like Nick is going to go in there and look really slow. And I think that he's going to really try and march down Robbie, throw some weird techniques out there, like some kicks, probably going to try a bunch of stuff and try to land the boxing, and then he's going to get countered. And I think that he's going to, as he tries to enter into that brawl range, Robbie's going to try and take his head off with every blow. Now, if Nick can take the blows, then obviously Robbie is going to punch himself out by the third round, and then Nick can probably take advantage. But how I see this fight going is similar to Masvidal versus Diaz. I feel like probably not as vicious, probably not as incompetitive, but I feel like Robbie's going to definitely win at least 3 of these rounds if Nick can survive that long. And then Nick can probably come on late. That's how I see it. But, like I said, I'll make a video about it, and you guys are probably going to be a bit upset with me, but I'm just being honest. I just got to put the harsh truth. Nick has been out for 7 years. That's all I'm going to say. So, if you're looking forward to my full breakdown and analysis of that fight, I'm going to make a video probably coming out tomorrow. So, look forward to that. Okay, so let's talk about this other stuff. So, since there isn't a lot, so basically, if you guys want to ask me questions, I'm opening up a new segment on this podcast, which I've already did in the past, but it was very underwhelming because I tried to get you guys to follow me on Instagram and you guys didn't. So, here's what we're going to do. So, comment questions that you want me to answer on this podcast, and then I'll answer them on the next one. So comment your questions under this one, and then I'm gonna answer them on the next one, okay? Because just so we can give if I get a bunch, I don't want this podcast to be like an hour long. So basically, just comment your questions, and then I'll answer them in the next podcast. But as for right now, it's been your boy Trippy. But make sure whenever you comment your comments, please make sure they're readable, bruh. Make sure they're readable. Don't leave any grammar mistakes or a bunch of them, or I can't, because I'm not going to answer it if I can't read it, bro, dog. And I know it's weird that I got to say that, but trust me, dude, there's a lot of commenters that comment stuff and they don't make sense. That happens all the time. So, it's been your boy Trippy. If you enjoyed the podcast, go ahead and leave your comments, your questions, whether it's just comments, whether it's a question, or it's just a side remark, or just you want to let me know something. It'll be read on the next podcast. But anyway, it's been your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man.